if you're not really encouraging the youth, you're not making content for the youth, I think then, what's the point?
Exactly. Do you think the youth has made art as a form of escapism?
It's okay to escape a little bit from the real world. Real world is really harsh. So it's okay to take that mini vacation break and draw something, write something, create music, do something.
Yeah.
You can make money out of art.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's
course.
not just a hobby. An artist who's great, very talented, but is stuck will die poor. All my illustrations, like I said before, I go through the suffering, only then I illustrate. Only when I feel something is when I draw something.
But what happens when you're not feeling anything?
Well, after I've completed the illustration, I ask myself, is this what I truly feel?
Right.
Have I really lived this? If I haven't, I don't have the right to put it up.
Hello everyone, welcome back to What's the Point, brought to you by your very own The Youth channel. I'm your host Nikita, and today I have with me a very wonderful guest. She's Sukriti Kohli, an artist, an illustrator, and she also teaches youth. So she works with the youth a lot, and I think someone who experiences youth firsthand is definitely the right person to talk about the youth.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nikita, for
Yes.
inviting me. And I'm truly encouraged by what you guys are doing
Thanks,
at
Anna.
TYC. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you so much.
And I say that because I feel if you're not really encouraging the youth, you're not making content for the youth, which is very value creating. I think then, what's the point? Yeah.
Exactly. That's our point, guys.
Yes. So what I do is I do many things. I'm also the creative director of an organization. So yeah, I play many roles, but one thing that I truly believe is to always dedicate my life to encouraging youth.
Right.
Okay, so and the reason, I think the reason is primary reason would be because there was nobody to encourage me when I was young.
Yeah.
So I feel if there are certain voices which are, understanding, validating, listening to the youth, I think it's the best direction that we can show to the youth. Yeah. So that is why I dedicated my art to encouraging the youth, and that is why Doctor of Happiness.
That's a wonderful concept. I think there need to be more things out there for the youth, and I feel like when we present them a better, I don't know, a better outlook at things, a better guidance at things, it will always reach the right minds and always bring a change, I think. So when you work, Sukriti, with a lot of young people, what is it that you have observed? I mean, there are a lot of things said about the youth out there, but what is it that you observe, like when you create your art or when you teach people or see the art that the youth creates?
Yeah.
What speaks more to you? That what is it more about the identity for the youth, or is it just, I don't know, just a part of the aesthetics that the world has built around us today?
Yeah. So I think both.
Yeah.
आर्ट आर्ट का पर्पस ही है टू बी एस्थेटिक, टू बी ब्यूटिफुल. But having said that, if beautiful art can also create value, if it has a profound message, I think it's exceptional. So I feel that the youth today are doing two things, and I'm also doing the same thing at Doctor of Happiness. And that is, I use art as a mirror and as a microphone. Okay, so why mirror? Because when I'm going through something, art helps me reflect.
Right.
And it helps me heal, hence the mirror. And why microphone? Because we have the social media, and whatever that I'm putting out there, it's reaching out to so many people all over the world.
Right.
So I think the youth is doing the same, and I think it's a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think the youth also sometimes get caught in the algorithm, like creating just for the algorithm, so that it would be pushed more than to just express themselves? Like, okay, I might want to express this particular thing, but it might not work that well with the algorithm. So I'm going to have to create something that will go with the algorithm.
You're asking a content creator who's primarily an artist, and I cannot tell you that's like the pain point,
Yeah.
that I'm going through as an artist, and I'm sure the youth is also going through the same, or anybody who's creating content. And of course, social media is amazing. When I decided to make something on mental health, I didn't know where to go, how to start, and it was through Instagram that I started. And I'm really grateful for the social media, because it really does give a grand stage, right? But at the same time, it also gives you a challenge, because as an artist, when you're in that system, it's prompting you to create similar sort of things so that you get likes more, and you can come on somebody's feed and things like that. And I think here the challenge is that how to remain more human, and not be directed by by the system, by the social media norms, or whatever system that they have created.
Have you found the answer? How to help us?
I think the answer is for you to find. Each one will have a different answer, but I think the answer for me is to really go back and feel that is this what I truly feel right now?
Right.
So whatever I make, sometimes I have also gone in that rut of just creating happy-go-lucky illustration, which is just has the good vibes, but doesn't have any material, but I have not posted it. I've made it, so I have my own filter. Instagram and all these, they have their filters, right? But as an artist, I have my own filter, and my filter is very simple. After I've completed the illustration, I ask myself, is this what I truly feel?
Right.
Have I really lived this? If I haven't, I don't have the right to put it up. Correct. So that is my filter, and I think everyone will have their own filters. Yeah.
That's true. So do you think the youth has made art as a form of escapism in that case than just expression, or vice versa?
I feel you can use art as an escapism. You can use art for healing. Art is so powerful. We don't even realize how powerful it is. So I think please use it for good, whatever way you want to heal.
Correct.
Even if it is escapism. Because that escapism is very, for few moments, it's not like, it's just because you're in the art, so you're also making something. Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah.
It's okay.
So you're also making something, you're in the process. So it is, so I think as long as youth is using it to heal, I think it's good to go.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of negative connotations surrounding escapism.
Acha.
So I don't know why people take it as such a bad thing. So like when if anyone is creating something, creating art or doing anything to escape a certain situation, feeling, whatever, do you think it's like necessarily wrong? Or
no,
not really, right?
No, I have a real life experience, and my school teacher is not going to appreciate this. I hope she doesn't remember it. So I'm not really good in mathematics, and I am terrible at remembering dates and numbers, and it's probably something to do with how I was judged for not being great at mathematics. I don't know, but whatever it is, I have accepted it that I make mistakes in maths.
Yeah, everyone does, I think.
Yeah.
It's only a handful people good at mathematics.
Yeah. Hats off to the ones who are. And I remember that in a mathematics class, because it just सब ऊपर से जा रहा था. And the only way to express what I was feeling was through drawing.
Right.
So I sat at the last bench and I sketched something. And this teacher was actually substituting. So she was not a real mathematics teacher. If it was the real one, she would have thrown me out of the class. So it was somebody who was substituting, and she came to me and she said, what are you doing? And I tried to hide it. And she said, no, I want to see it. And she said, this is so wonderful. So rather than discouraging me, she encouraged me, saying that this is so fantastic. And I think at that moment, my reaction as a young person was that I'm just escaping the maths class.
Yeah.
But I think I was,
Actually creating something.
yes. So I feel it's okay to escape a little bit
Yeah.
from the real world. Real world is really harsh,
It
and
is.
it's really mean, and it's really, not as how we expect it to be.
True.
So it's okay to take that mini vacation break and draw something, write something, create music,
That's
do something.
Yeah, that's a wonderful way of putting it. I think people really need to hear it
Yeah.
this way, because it's always been like you cannot escape a certain way, or oh, you're just running away from things, which is like a really wrong way to look at art, I feel. And that really needs to change. And if thanks to people like you, I think, and youth, in fact, I think youth has really understood that we are not just running away.
Yes.
We are also using this for something bigger than just escaping or things, which is a wonderful thing, I feel. But then if you ever come across, or I think you might have come across someone, people like who think art is mere aesthetics, it's not gonna help you in any way, or it's just hobby. We have grown up hearing like, yeah, it's hobby, no, fine.
Yeah. What's your real work?
What's your real work? How do you explain things to people like these who might still have such kind of an I don't know, outlook on art and how it helps people mentally, physically?
Very profound question, and I don't have a very profound answer to that. I would say that you can make money out of art,
Yeah,
for sure, and
Of
it's
course.
not just a hobby.
yeah,
It's hard to pursue it because there's a lot of rejection in our field.
right.
And if you are taught from the very beginning and you understand and accept that rejection is a part of the process, I think then it's okay.
Yeah,
But I think if you are thinking that whatever I'm making is perfect, and this, you don't accept criticism and you don't accept the sort of feedback that people
Yeah.
are giving, that's where you're stuck.
correct.
So any artist should be open to feedback. If it's a hobby, great, fantastic. That's also great. If you don't need feedback, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you want to make money out of it, you need to be open to criticism, feedback, and open to being flexible
Right.
and not stuck. An artist who's great, very talented, but is stuck will die poor.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll become famous once they die.
Yeah.
But I think we need to change that narrative now.
Yeah. I think we've had enough,
Yes.
I don't know,
Romanticizing the
artists,
idea.
homeless, foodless artists.
Jhola artist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. I think it's really time to change the narrative.
Correct.
I think artists are differently intelligent, and
Yeah.
that needs to be accepted in the society. I may not know maths, and I may not know finance, and I may not understand all of that, but I understand emotions.
Right.
And if I understand emotions, if I understand human being, I think it's the biggest victory.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point in
Yes.
the end.
That's the whole
But
point.
not that mathematics and finance are not. Please teach us that as well. Schools.
Yes.
But yeah, I think this is something that needs to be encouraged as well. And I feel it is really great that this generation has actually taken it up that no, we want to make this change.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a great part about Gen Z or the youth today, who has like really said ki, okay, yeah, we understand that this is more than just a hobby,
Yes.
and we can actually make it a living, make it into a living, or even if we are not making it into a living, it could still bring change. Art has, I think, always been associated with change and revolution.
Yes.
So, but I think it is still not very accepted widely in the society, and I feel like the youth is actually doing that today,
Yes.
which might not be very well received at all times.
Yes.
But I don't think the youth is gonna
Yeah.
hold back from that.
No, I don't think so. They should.
But there's also this, while we spoke about this narrative of artists being homeless or like wanting to be in pain, so there is a very very interesting narrative around that an artist creates out of pain. That is when the best work comes out. Do you think that's true, or it is just a romanticized idea about art?
don't kill me for saying this, but I'm somebody who, doctor of happiness comes from the pain that I
Yeah.
have been through. But it's not, I don't illustrate the pain part. I illustrate the part when I was able to overcome that pain,
Yeah.
when I was able to overcome that suffering. And that's what I try to capture. So it's very easy to make dark illustrations.
Yeah.
I won't say easy, but I would say more natural, because that's what I'm feeling, and that's, I just want to do what I'm feeling. वो आसान है. But I think ज़्यादा मुश्किल है when you pass that pain and you say, okay, now let me show the world how did I do it,
Yeah.
and how through an illustration I can also, like, kind of show a way through, without being very preachy, without saying that I did it, so can you. Just saying, just putting it out there to say that, okay, this is also one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, all my illustrations, like I said before, I go through the suffering, only then I illustrate. And that is why the process is also very slow.
Yeah.
Only when I feel something is when I draw something.
So then doesn't that make but what happens when you're not feeling anything? If you're not feeling the pain, that what do you do then? Or what does
I'm
an
feeling the
artist
pain
do?
all the time, Nikita. Tell me that
The
one
word
human
is terrible.
tell me that one human being who doesn't feel pain. No, I mean, what I mean is that we all have obstacles. We all
Right.
are going through ups and downs constantly. Yeah.
Right.
So,
It might not come in extremities,
yes,
but I think on some level.
on some,
Okay.
there's always a sort of,
Yeah.
thing that is going on in your mind, or it's triggered by the environment, or it's happening because you're not feeling good about yourself, confident about yourself, or so on and so forth. Whether environment or inside, whatever it may be, it is a constant for an
Right.
artist, actually. And I think to capture how you sort of overcome it is what I'm illustrating.
Yeah. I think it does make sense that we are constantly going through some or the other things.
Yes.
Maybe not in extremes,
Yes.
but a
Something
pain
or
or
the
a
other,
battle
yes.
could be as small as, I don't know, missing your train.
Yes, of course. Or
So-
maybe as small as somebody said something to me and I'm holding on. I'm showing that I'm very brave, but I'm holding on to that comment and it's playing on loop in my mind.
In my mind, yeah.
So it's a very silent battle, and I may not tell it to anybody, but I'm going through it. Or maybe I made a wrong decision and I was all excited about that decision, but when it turns out that it was a wrong decision, and now I'm thinking in my head, what do I do?
Right.
So I think वो जो छोटे छोटे constant struggles हैं, I think that is
Right.
what I am trying to illustrate many
That's
times.
wonderful. And when you work with the youth, and you also teach art as well, right?
Yeah.
So when you see the youth creating art or when you're teaching them,
Yes.
have you had any struggles with the youth to like understand or like teach them that this is what you're supposed to do with the art or this is how you're supposed to express? But in the end, it just somehow the world of aesthetics just gets to them. And is how do you bridge that? Okay, the youth is, I feel like to some extent has been fed the idea of a certain beauty, but beauty exists in different forms. How do you bridge that idea for someone who might just have one particular standard stuck in their head?
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't, because every artist has their own journey.
Right.
They have their own voice. And I think an artist's journey is to find a unique voice within yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you can't teach that to anyone. I can create a path for the student.
Right.
I can encourage them. I can encourage them gently. I can be a little strict. I can find out different ways. But ultimately, it is on the individual to find that voice. And I think no teacher can ever do that. I think the teachers, what they need to do, and I don't particularly teach art. What I teach is advertising and maybe a little bit of, very little bit of filmmaking. I also teach soft skills. So that's a lot of encouragement over there. And I think the duty of any teacher would not be to, I don't know, chipkao my thought
Right.
onto anybody.
Anyone.
That's whatever I think is right. I think the biggest lesson is that I'm here to learn with you,
Right.
and I'm here to understand your perspective. And why I love working with the youth is not because I want to teach them or I want to tell them that, oh, I went through this, and no, I actually want to be with them because I get to learn so much.
Right.
And I really mean it. I really mean it. In fact, if there's a break, in semesters and I'm not getting to teach, it doesn't give me so much of money, but
Yeah.
I miss the interaction with the youth so much because there is so much to learn.
Right.
You all have such a fresh perspective to life. So I think I remember when I was in advertising, one of my bosses had once told me that if you, till eternity, if you want to create art, learn to become youthful.
Yeah.
And what is the trick to that? The trick is to hang out with young people. Hang out with young people and really embrace and accept the changes that are constantly happening. Rather than saying that I used to do this, this is done this way.
Right. We
And
used to do it like
we
this.
used to do it like this, and I don't know what the youth is doing. I think rather than saying that, to really say, okay, there is a new way to this.
Right.
Though it's very hard for me also to accept the changes, but I have to constantly remind myself that, okay, let's learn a new way.
Yeah. So I was actually going to ask you, what are your challenges when you are working with the youth? But I think I should tweak it now and ask you, what if you had to mention a couple of things that you have learned or really inculcated in yourselves from the youth? Because I'm sorry, no one ever tells us that, oh, we learned this from you. So
I will tell you.
Yeah.
And I hope it doesn't come as a big shock to you. The biggest gift that the youth has given me is Doctor of Happiness.
Yeah.
It has taken birth because of youth.
Yeah.
So the moment I got a message from your team and the moment I went through what you guys are doing, even if I don't have the time, I will take out time to do this podcast because I truly believe it's my mission. I'm not just saying it. I really believe it from the bottom of my heart. Like, you can tear open my heart and you can see, I really believe that it's my mission to dedicate my art to youths.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything, anywhere in the world, where there is a discussion on youth's mental health, I have to be part of that, So, and I get to learn so much more, right?
Yeah.
So I think Doctor of Happiness came out from series of incidents that happened while I was teaching in various colleges. Series, actually. So it's a culmination of all my students who I have met, who wanted to take advice more than advertising, than whatever I was teaching in the class, and I didn't know how to help them.
Right.
Because I'm not a therapist, because I don't have a psychology background.
Yeah.
So how do I help someone who's going through something? So, and a lot of those things that they were going through, I had gone through when I was in school, when I was in college. And I said, there has to be another way, because at that time there was, now therapy is more, acceptable. And, I feel Gen Z is bringing that, and it's really amazing. उस वक्त तो ये भी नहीं था, so I feel, Nikita, that I consider Doctor of Happiness as a bridge between a therapist and a patient.
Yeah.
So if somebody writes to me saying that I'm really encouraged by your illustration, but I don't know can you help me? I cannot give therapy because I don't know, but I can connect you to a great therapist.
Yeah.
So many doctors, so many psychiatrists, so many therapists have got in touch with me and validated what I'm doing. And I think that in itself, and I just don't do it randomly. There's a lot of research again. I study a lot of psychology books so that I don't put out something which is against therapy. It's just like feel good.
Correct.
Right? It's not feel good.
Right.
So there is philosophy and psychology. It's a mix of that. So coming back to your question, the biggest learning from youth is Doctor of Happiness.
That's wonderful. You must also face certain challenges, because I understand
Yeah.
that youth can be difficult sometimes. They can be rebellious, or they can be, I don't know, they want to be seen so much that sometimes I feel we do forget to listen.
Yeah.
So, what are certain challenges also that you come across, or you would feel that, okay, this is also something the youth should, you know, inculcate or incorporate in themselves?
Okay, I have a very different answer to
Yeah.
this. Okay. I feel that as a youth, you must have a anchor
Yeah.
in your life. Uh, this anchor can be a spiritual philosophy that you rely on. It can be it can be an author that you really love. It can be an artist that you really love,
Right.
admire their work. Yeah, but it has to be something. So I feel that one thing that is missing, the youth is very intelligent, much more intelligent than both of us
Yeah.
together, and how much ever books I may study, you are far more uh, knowledgeable than I am. But I think one thing that is different, is one thing that is missing, I would say, in Gen Z would be, and Gen Alpha. I'm raising a Gen Alpha at home, by the way.
Yeah.
So I would say is a spiritual anchor is missing. So either it has to be a spiritual anchor, or it has to be somebody whom, some sort of a mentor,
Yeah.
some sort of a person or a philosophy that you really look up to, and that you really believe in. And then through that is very, very important for human
Yeah.
beings. So we are big, as internet is growing and artificial intelligence is taking over, etc., etc., all of that, I think to remain human means to have that sort of that human touch will only come through faith.
Right.
So faith is very important. Everything else can be learned. You can be talented, you can be skilled, you can learn everything. You can
Right.
put your heart onto something and really become an expert at it. In today's time, it is not that hard.
Yeah.
But I think what uniqueness, how will you stand out? It will be through your faith. So faith is, I think, a very, very essential.
Yeah. That's wonderful. I do think that, yeah, faith or a belief in something, really, I think it also helps people create so much.
Yes.
That is something you create out of. Otherwise,
Yes.
I don't know what
Yeah.
word is. I
Yeah.
think
Otherwise, it can
everything
become
just sprouts from your faith, from your belief, from something that you really believe in.
Absolutely.
It could be an ideology, like you said. It doesn't exactly have to be spiritual, or I don't know. It depends on people's beliefs, and if
But there has to be something
something
that you anchor your life on. There has to be a
Right.
foundation. There is
Correct.
no foundation. Random chal rahe hain, So if you don't have a foundation, then it's a huge problem. Can I give you an example of an illustration that I made? So everybody's seen Munna Bhai.
Yeah.
Right? There's a fantastic scene, very famous, Jadoo Ki Jappi.
Yes.
I really believe in the power of hugs. Now,
Yeah.
this is nothing spiritual. It is a simple sort of physical, like a
Right.
physical smile, there's physical hug. I created an illustration called Hugs Heal, okay,
Yeah.
wherein there is a girl who's trying to hug a big bear,
Yeah.
because we call it like a big bear hug, right?
Yeah.
So that illustration sparked somebody who had come to my stall at Spoken Fest and created a film out of it. Okay, and that person wrote to me. I don't remember that person. Wherever you are, hello, thank you so much.
Yeah, I do hope that person sees this.
Yeah, but it's so amazing that thought, even though the thought didn't come from Munna Bhai, but I'm just saying that it's a beautiful thought, and it's a great philosophy to live by. That
Yeah.
whenever I meet somebody, I must give them a warm hug.
Yeah.
Yeah, my hug must mean something. My handshake, my words must mean something. The one that you are giving it to will also feel the warmth, and because you are giving it, you will also feel the warmth.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. Yeah, it's just like encouragement. It may seem that I'm encouraging you, but it turns out that I'm encouraging myself as well.
Right.
So the anchor can be anything. So all my illustrations have some sort of a philosophical angle to it.
Right.
And I practice Buddhism myself. So a lot of my influence also comes from Buddhism.
Right, that's wonderful. I think, yeah, like you said, it's very important for anyone to have an anchor, to believe in something, to have a certain, I don't know, sense of belongingness.
Yes.
And I don't think it is just very constrained to art, but I think it's just for life. I think it just helps us in so many ways other than just creating art for our mere existence.
Yes.
It really adds a value or adds a little bit of, I don't know, layer.
Yeah, even for mental health.
Mental health even, right? Because we always turn to an anchor, I think.
Yes.
In despair, there's always something we want to turn to.
Yes.
If it's not art, it's something else. It's the ideology we believe in. It's the person we look up to.
Yes.
And that's a wonderful thing to have. And yeah, hugs do heal, guys. Please hug people more. And having said, since we spoke about your art piece, which comes from this particular hugs wala concept, do you think that every art piece that has to be created out there needs a particular messaging, or it could just exist? Or will there always be meaning attached to any piece of art?
No, you can make whatever you want.
Yeah.
And feel whatever you want. And I do a lot of random work as well that I don't put up for the people to see, because Doctor of Happiness is to encourage people. It is to bring happiness to people. So I may not put up, though I do sometimes put random stuff as well. But I do understand that every piece of art cannot have a message, because it will also become very, it's not possible. It's not possible. So, it becomes...
It will also create a certain pressure, right?
Yeah.
And you have to constantly put something out there, so it will give someone a particular message.
Yes.
But then again, you never know if the message is going to be received the way you want it.
That is also the
subjective.
Other. Absolutely.
So yeah, art can exist without... It can just exist.
It can just...
Makes sense. You can just create something. It might not have a meaning, or it could just be for your whatever you're feeling, or just for yourself. But there are also cases where we see a lot of plagiarism, theft, and there has actually been a very recent case, I think, in Delhi, wherein an artist has just taken and like slapped someone else's art pieces. So like, how does the art really loses its, I don't know, like not giving someone the due credit, or just taking it and putting it as your own, then it again becomes very immoral? Or how does art go with that then? Where does that come from, do you think?
So there are two perspectives that I have. One is that I truly believe that two different people in different parts of the world can have same idea.
Right.
And advertising has taught me that, So, कोई हम idea बनाते थे तो, our boss would turn around and say, ये idea हो चुका है, And it's not that we've taken it from anywhere. It's just that it can come to two people. So, I would first say that it is possible that two people can have same ideas. The second thing is that as an artist myself, to really have my own moral compass, right? And of course, as a designer also, not just as an artist, the tendency to cheat, to have a shortcut, is human. वो आती है. I will be lying if I say that, I don't Pinterest, or I don't, save things. I think everyone does it. But you can get inspired by a thought and have your own take on it. And that is how every artist in the world, whoever has existed, has got inspired by nature. It's already existed. You can't help it. So some idea will come from somewhere. One idea. हम कुछ बात करेंगे, उससे मुझे कोई Doctor of Happiness का idea आ जाएगा. So ideas आपको मिल सकते हैं और artist से भी. But you have to have your own moral compass, right? That what I'm doing, is this really correct?
Right.
So I think as an artist, it's your own responsibility to do that. And there is another thought that is coming to my mind, and that is that if somebody, and people do copy Doctor of Happiness a lot of times, and they sometimes send it to me, sometimes people tag me saying that, this is so similar. And I would say that, earlier, right in the beginning, I would be all, that, "Arey yaar, what is happening?" And, after a while, I started to feel it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's the greatest compliment an artist can get. That somebody is, of course, not calling it their own work, but getting inspired or
Yeah.
looking at it or, copying the lines, etc. So I have these three thoughts. As an artist, have your own moral compass. Please don't allow yourself. You will have those moments, but please control and don't slip. And the other aspect is somebody is copying your work, take it as
A
a
compliment.
compliment. Move on.
And what as when you work with the youth, do you how do you see this moral compass amongst the youth? Like, do they seem to have a strong moral compass, or is the youth
Yes.
more uh, I don't know, inclined towards, okay, it's easy because they are surrounded with so much information, with so
What
much
a
overload of
what a
everything.
brilliant question you have asked. Because nobody asks such a
Yeah.
question actually.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I work alongside students who are making advertising campaigns, and I'm so enthusiastic about advertising that sometimes I would get an idea and I would tell them, don't do like this, I have a great idea, तुम ना ऐसे बनाओ. And
Yeah.
I have had so many students saying that, madam, we will not use this because this is your idea.
Yeah.
And I would just think कि मतलब क्यों, मतलब ये इतना अच्छा आइडिया है, तुमको सीधा ONM में जाकर you
Yeah.
can apply. I mean, your portfolio will be so good. It's such a great idea, and we've brainstormed together.
Yeah.
But they're very clear about it, and I really appreciate that. So I feel that the youth is pretty sorted.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, I think everyone can have their moments of slipping or whatnot. But yeah, it's good to know that our youth is really standing up to it. Wonderful. Where do we draw this line of that, oh, I'm inspired from this particular thing and I'm just taking it? Where does that moral line begin or end? Or is there even a line?
I think it'll depend from an individual to an individual.
Yeah.
I think it's again, moral compass is very personal, right? So my
Correct,
moral
true.
compass will be very different than yours.
True. Makes
So I
sense.
think I mean, as long as your I don't know, dipstick to check, if I'm on the right path or wrong path is something that you'll have to see how
Yeah.
deep that is or how short that is.
Yeah, makes sense. Do you think that internet today makes people believe that, okay, anything you do is right? It could be. So do you think the situation that people are in today, the digital world that the youth has grown up on, has seen around them, or is still existing in, has really affected how they see morality? I mean, I get it. You said they are very moral. That is a great yay. But do you think that comes from the internet today? I hope
Yeah.
it does, because we are a lot on the internet.
Yes, I think it does. But there are a few dangerous things also that I'm seeing. And one of the dangerous things I see is bullying.
Yeah.
And bullying was very relevant in, when I was young too. It
Yeah.
is relevant. I feel it's not just in schools and colleges. It's very much relevant at workplaces as well.
Yeah, it is.
So even in families.
Yeah.
So it's really sad and very dangerous. And I think internet gives you the freedom to say anything
True.
to anyone. And you don't have to think about it. You can just say whatever, spit it out,
Yeah.
And I think that's very dangerous. It's not great. It's not a good culture to encourage.
Right.
You may have a very strong opinion about something, which is good, but we don't have to necessarily always say it.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily. It's why is it so important suddenly in the world that there is no gray area left, Nikita?
Yeah.
I feel either you're white or you're black. You're on this side or you're on that side. Why are we not seeing the middle paths?
Right.
Why have we stopped seeing the middle path? So I feel youth needs to really be, with their moral compass right there in their pocket, and good self check that they do, but they also need to see that they are not constantly taking sides. There has to be, in fact, one of the
Right.
illustrations that I was showing you before we
Yeah.
started this conversation was that there's a person I've drawn
Right.
who has
Yeah.
yeah,
Like a
it
finger
looks
on the
like
lip.
it's a finger on the lips, and if you view it in a different way, it's as if the person's mouth is wide open and
Right.
he or she's trying to
Yeah,
talk.
we will be putting up the illustration for a better
Yes.
understanding of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what it basically means is that sometimes we need to stand up for what I believe,
Yes.
but sometimes I also need to shut up and listen.
True. I think we have spent so much time with fighting our peers, our elders, saying, listen, you can't tell me, okay? You can't always force me to do it your way. But then in some way or in some smaller ways, we do tend to become that. I know I have been that at some point or multiple times. I think my family will totally vouch for this. That I think I need to become a better listener is something I've understood very recently. But yeah, I think if you have to speak something for yourself, you will also have to listen someone because that person is also speaking for themselves. So I think that's a lesson I'm really working on, I think. Yeah. And a lot of people need that. I have understood that a lot of my own peers, my own friend circle, my people of my age, younger, do really need to learn that. That is something because I think we came from a space where we want to be heard, we want to be seen because people generally don't take the youth seriously because ek to tum chote ho chup ho jao has been a very prominent culture for us like everywhere. I think it has always been ki yaar chote ho na tum yaar bado ke beech mein mat bolo. So that is somewhere we grow from, and then there just comes a point where we are just like, no, I will rebel now. But then we forget that for rebelling we'll also have
Yeah.
to take one step back at some point
Yeah.
and to grow. In fact, not just taking a step back is not always coming back. It's also you to learn something else, to reflect on what you are doing, what you are saying, and that's very important.
So it's very important to choose your battles wisely.
Yeah.
I want to speak about this. I want to maybe ignore this right now. And so there has to be some sort of midway, I feel. Midway is the key.
Yeah. Yeah, there has to be. I think everything will have a midway. You just have to be patient enough, understanding enough of finding it, looking for it. If not finding it, looking for it at least. Not just ki it's going to be there, but look for it.
Yeah.
That's
There's
a wonderful
another
thought.
example that I want to talk about is if I dislike somebody, I dislike a community, or I
Yeah.
dislike, or I disagree. Okay. So I think I've learned this very hard lesson, and I want to tell the youth there is a way to disagree somebody.
Yeah.
You can disagree with somebody, but you don't have to disrespect.
Yeah.
The problem is if I disagree with you, I also start disrespecting you. I think that's where the problem starts. So I think we really need to understand there's a big difference between I do not agree with you, but I still respect you.
Yeah. But I also feel like that is right, true. But I also feel like a lot of times our disagreement in itself is taken as disrespect. So even the disagreement is not very well received.
Yeah.
So I feel like it comes from that also. You are anyway taking it as disrespect.
Yeah.
So then, I don't know, it just comes from that frustration that every time I disagree, I am not disrespecting you.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between
Right.
disagreeing and disrespecting. I think the youth also needs to learn, and my generation and all the generation, I think every
Right.
human being needs to learn that it's
Yeah, that a yes and no can coexist.
yes, it can.
Disagreements
and it must,
can.
and it should, and it does. It's just that we want to only take sides.
Yeah, true. We don't want to see a middle ground. Please, guys, see a middle ground. So we live in a very I don't know, polarized world, I feel at this point, like where the youth is like, please understand us, see us. And then there's also this one generation which is saying, listen, we used to not do things like this. And both the generations just need to come together and be like, okay, this is a middle ground. Like, I understand that my parents would probably not understand everything I have to say. And this is something which we ourselves learned after a lot of arguments, after a lot of tutu meme.
Yeah.
But then the middle ground did, we did reach a middle ground. And then that's the sweet spot of our relationship. And I think I'm in the best relationship with my parents. Like, if I have to like look at my teen years, I was like constantly fighting. Mummy papa ke saath jhagde ho rahe. But then now if I look at things, I've also understood certain things that, okay, not everything is going to be like this. For them also, it's a completely different change. For them, understanding things my way is going to be difficult. And I cannot always expect a person to understand my perspective 100%. So yeah, that middle ground though I totally vouch for personally as well. And it has helped in my personal relationships, any relationships I've had, if it is at workplaces, in my friend circle, family. And that's a wonderful thought to leave this conversation at. I think finding a middle ground for all generations, and it's not just for the youth, it's for all the generations. Everyone needs to coexist. Yes. And I think I would like to then end this conversation by asking you, what do you think is the ultimate point of art being such an integral part of our life?
So I think for me, art, when it has meaning, it becomes eternal.
Yeah. And I think this is a thought, if we look at it, it's not just for the youth, it's really for everyone. And that's a wonderful note to end on, I feel. It was a wonderful conversation with you, Sukriti. Thank you so much for coming on board with this and sharing your experiences and everything that you've done. And, really, really supporting the youth. We really need more people like you. And that was a wonderful conversation. I enjoyed this thoroughly. That was all for today, guys. If you have loved this episode and really, really understood and taken something from this, please let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share this with more and more people, because honestly, people need to hear this. So don't forget to share, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.